Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to The Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
The Unretreat. Are you still thinking that you can be Superwoman without any self-care? Do you feel guilty when your calendar is open and free? Ladies, self-care is not selfish. You have the power to give yourself what you need. Join the Maven Squad October 13th and 14th in Galveston, Texas for the Unretreat and give yourself permission to unwind, unplug, and unbam. The Unretreat is just what your mind, body, and spirit needs to be recharged and refilled. Get the details about this all-inclusive event at myrashaw.com/events and give yourself the gift of you.
True Digital Media Consulting. You're online right now and so are your customers, but marketing has to be a consistent journey. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your online ads, organic growth, and so much more. Contact us today at 832-934-4436 or visit our website at truedigitalmediaconsulting.com.
Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hey, yo, what's good, my peeps? That's right. You guessed it. You arrived on Startup Masters, the show, the podcast that has the illest content, the best guests. We got the greatest vibe going on right here for all of you who are considering starting up your own business, or even my entrepreneurs who already have a business, but perhaps your business plan, your business model needs a bit of a recharge or revival, as some would say. But you came to the right place because our guests go in, meaning that they give you the good, the bad, the ugly, the pitfalls, the ups, the downs, like everything you need to know so that you have the tools and resources to see and get you through any storm. I'm your host, Kalia Guillory, and you can follow me on all of my social media platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. The easiest way to find it is at kogpassion.com. And man, oh man, am I just so happy to be here in the studio with you. G, what's new? What's good?
You know it's good. It's another Tuesday. We in the building. What's up, people? Welcome back to Startup Masters. I'm your co-host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Of course, you can find me anywhere online, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, snappity chatting at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with the Z. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to have these conversations that take businesses to the next level. Why? Because you're talking about the journeys. We're talking about the trials and tribulations, things that occur for our businesses, for people that sit at this table, the things we've been through, real life stuff. I'm nothing fake, or not the falsetto, none of the things that people allure to when they want to sell you a product or an idea or a dream. But we're talking about the mud. We're talking about the true challenges, the things that we cry over at night, the blood, sweat, and tears that comes building great businesses and enterprises. And we're talking about them right here on Startup Masters, folks, man. I want to give you that power because it's about to get powerful here at this table. We got a gentleman that's been around the gambit. I remember meeting this cat way back when at a table playing Uno at an event.
Uno.
He don't even remember this. We're sitting at the table playing Uno, having a great event, just chilling. You know what I'm saying? It was our own personal little thing.
Okay.
Somebody introduced me to him. I was like, cool, chopped it up. Fast forward 3, 4, 5 years. This dude's got events all over the world.
Come on,
and
all over the world.
And it's sometimes it's a bit difficult to impress me, but gosh darn it, I'm impressed. So, without further ado, I bring the one and only, the mastermind behind Urban Events Global, Mr. Kevin Knight. Kev, what's up, baby?
What's going on, man?
How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Appreciate it, man. It's hard to follow that introduction.
You don't need to, brother. It's
Man,
for you.
I need to hear more about this Uno game at some point.
Bro, this
Maybe-
was a while back. We were either it was either a tubing trip or something.
Okay.
My homegirl, Orissa Bay at the time, we had gotten a cottage. It was like 20 of us, and I remember you showing up with some other people. We was at the table playing cards, and that's my first time meeting you. This was early 2000s, like or let me say maybe early 2010s, maybe like 2010, 2011. So we're talking 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And so when I saw you come through the studio a while, on hashtag, I was like, I remember the interaction. You may have not, because obviously you've met a million people. You traveled a lot of continents.
I've had a few drinks since then.
Yeah. You slept since.
I slept since then a little bit.
You're building enterprises. So, but I remember that day, and because that day was memorable, it continues to sow back into your legacy. And that's why I put you in front of these cameras. That's why I reach out to you, to have people on the outside, those that are tuned in right now on Spotify, those that are watching this on their couch for YouTube, just so they can get a glimpse of what it takes to build success, what it takes to go through, as I mentioned earlier, that proverbial mud. That's important, man. Right. The process is so important.
You're right.
You ready to talk to people about your process, man,
talk.
your journey?
Let's discuss.
Good deal. So those that are tuned in right now, I see people on Facebook. Hey, we love you, Mo. I see you you chimed in. Make sure if you're watching us right now, chime in. Feel free to ask Kev questions that you have. And remember, we're only on live for the first 15 minutes of Facebook. So get your questions in now. Say what's up. Let us shout you out. And then, of course, you can subscribe. We'll give you the information later before we wrap up the Facebook Live portion and keep this podcast going. So, Kev, let's hop in the DeLorean. Let's hit 88 miles an hour. We're going back into time.
All right.
Tell us what was going on in your mind, in your life, when you decided to bring a global presence to the urban community.
You know, I spent about 16 years in corporate America, and traveling was something that I was already doing.
Sure.
You know, I was born in Frankfurt, Germany. My mom's in the military. I've traveled my whole life. So a lot of the experiences that I bring to my current company that I didn't have back then were events, things that I was already doing. Like there's nothing I'm doing now that is kind of just made up. You know, I was already going on cruises or traveling internationally to Cape Town, South Africa, or wanting to go camping, skiing, snowboarding, whatever the case is.
Sure.
So it was basically something that found me. I didn't seek to, like, if you ask me, 5-10 years ago, what do you see yourself doing in 5 or 10 years? This wasn't it, to be 100% honest with you.
We appreciate that.
It was just an opportunity that presented itself. And at the same time, I was also getting tired of corporate America. And I think we've all been there where you're just getting tired of the same, like the money was there, but the passion, the passion wasn't there.
There's a void.
And corporate America pays you just enough to not leave. It pays you to stay. And they paid me enough to not leave, to not pursue what it is I actually wanted to pursue. And so it was something that once I realized my friends wanted to come camping, wanted to go skiing, wanted to do these things, and I was putting them together and could make money doing it, it went from there.
All right. Hey, sometimes we fall into
Listen.
an opportunity. Sometimes it presents itself to us. And am I not supposed to hold on to this opportunity? Am I not supposed to go on this magical ride of financial freedom? Because that's ultimately where we all want to head. Am I right?
Exactly.
Well, because what we get caught up in corporate America, we think that it's stability, but it's really not. It's pseudo stability.
Right.
Because we get caught up into thinking, my paycheck is coming every 2 weeks or twice a month. I'm getting my benefits. But what we fail to realize is that company has the last say so.
They get the last. I have a friend who just got laid off a couple days ago with a week and a half notice.
See?
That their job will be over November 1st. And how fair is that? Well, it's corporate America. It's very fair. They don't owe you any. They don't owe you that.
Nothing.
That whole 2-week notice thing. That's what they tell you, that's what they want, but they're not going to give you that same 2-week notice.
Totally.
So you have to go out there and live your dream. Is it exciting? It's exciting and fun until you run out of money.
Or if you didn't plan.
Until you have bills due. Then it gets scary.
So let's peel the onion a little bit on
Okay.
that, Kevin, because I feel as though some of our viewers are toying with that idea of, well, I'm ready to take my leap now, but how do I even do it? So you bring up a very good point. It's fun until you run out of money.
Right.
Share some of those
Here's how
trenches.
Here's how I did it. It was a transition, kind of like I used to run track. It's kind of like the sprint relay. You come in speeding, and then you pass the baton to somebody who's already running. So you're doing a combination of both: 2 people running, 1 baton.
Yeah.
You're working in corporate America, and you're running your business. But at some point, you're passing that baton to running your own business. You see what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
So it wasn't like I just got my last paycheck and said, let me start a business. No, I was running a business until I didn't have enough hours to do both. When you're working 40 to 50 hours in corporate America and then 80 hours for yourself,
Right.
at some point, something's going to break.
It's going to have to.
Or you're going to fail at one of them. And it got to the point to where I was failing at my corporate job. You know, they didn't know that I was failing, but I knew I was failing. And so it just made more sense to say, hey, it's time to go.
Did you guys catch that gym?
Yo.
Did you get the gym? I'll rewind the tape to make sure you got it. Kevin did not just say, peace out, I'm out, I'm gonna go start my own business. Preparation, planning. I'm willing to bet he had a blueprint, that he had some type of guide that will navigate him through. Folks, don't up and get inspired by this conversation going on around this table. Please make sure that you have taken the time to plan and prepare to transition away, because you need to consider a lot of things.
You definitely have to consider, because you're not going to get that 2-week check or monthly check. It's not guaranteed. Your business is going to fail. Most businesses will fail.
Yep.
And they say in the first 5 years, it's going to fail in the first 2 years, in the first year and a half. I mean, how many people you talk to on a regular basis that want to try this, want to try that? 6 months later, they're still either wanting to try it or they just haven't jumped off the ledge just yet.
Totally.
I mean, that speaks a lot of volumes. And there's a lot of things out there that you may want to try. One of the things you need to try is a great dentist. This particular portion of the show is sponsored by Smile Design Studios. Smile Design Studios family and cosmetic dentistry offers numerous treatments meant to maintain, heal, and customize your smile. If you're not sure what you need, don't worry. Dr. Ellis and her team are happy to meet with you to go over your patient history and goals and offer professional recommendations. Let Smile Design Studios make you smile. Call them today at 281-969-7388 or check out their website at sdshouston.com to schedule your appointment today. All new patients receive a free gift and $50 off your first dental treatment. Smile Design Studios looks forward to providing excellent care for you and your family. Exactly. Shout out to Smile Design Studios. Let them do that thing. But, you know, we're talking about the fact that businesses do fail. So speaking on that specifically, obviously when you're first out the gate, there's some bumps.
Yeah.
There's some things you don't know. There's some things you want to implement that don't necessarily go the way that you plan. Talk a little bit about that infancy stage where you're focused on implementation and you're hitting these bumps and you're having to pivot.
I mean, you're good at one thing. Let's say you're a chef. You're good at cooking, but you might not be good at accounting or being the janitor or turning the open and off sign on. Like you're wearing multiple hats. You may just wanted to cook and bake cookies all day, but you don't realize you have to run a business and run every part of that business until you can actually hire someone to do those various things. And you still have to know how to do it or you're going to get ripped off.
Yeah.
And so one of my biggest hurdles, I remember I was in St. Thomas a couple years ago on a scouting trip, and I owed the Marriott Hotel like $55,000. I'll never forget. And I was sending that through my PayPal account. PayPal denied the transfer. PayPal shut my account down. And literally that day, and I'm out of the country. And PayPal is not a bank. PayPal can play by their own rules.
Sure.
So I learned the merchant services part of the game real quick.
Yeah.
And by the time I Googled it and where it said, you know, PayPal sucks and PayPal this and that, it's something that a lot of people don't know. Like, you have to understand merchant services, because when you start taking in a lot of money, those banks could shut your account down. And so we had to take in money a different way for like almost 3 or 4 weeks.
And
it took me 6 months to get that money from PayPal. They didn't just hand it over. So then I had to make a phone call to a friend of mine who, thank goodness, gave me like 20,000 that day.
Yeah.
Or the next day. By the next day I had it. That was my biggest like, oh crap moment. Like, where am I going to get this money? This money's due today. And fortunately, I called the Marriott and had a relationship with them to where I could put that money on hold. But we can have a whole series of shows on the bumps in the road. Like, you just tell me where to start. I can give them to you alphabetically. I can give them to you. Like, there's a lot of bumps in the road because you're building something. You're building a community, and you have to manage that community like you manage a garden.
Sure.
Right. And you can't let weeds grow in your garden.
Come on.
And so you have to pluck people out of that, out of those scenarios. If not, they'll bring your whole garden down. They'll overgrow your garden.
Pruning season.
You have to prune the vine.
Come on.
You have to prune the vine.
Come on, Facebook Live. Y'all heard
Relationship
that?
currency.
Simba,
Yeah.
you heard that? Layla, I see you. Kamisha, y'all heard that? It's 18 people viewing right now. Somebody else pop in here. We want to know that you're in here. I want to make sure y'all are getting this. Y'all are getting these digital gems that are being dropped. You got to prune that garden, man. Sometimes you got to go through, you got to remove some stuff. You don't want the infection to occur because that may destroy your whole crop.
They could be cancerous to the environment.
Come on. That's your season.
That's
Pay
it.
attention, folks.
That's
Sometimes
it.
you got to prune. People get mad at me because I'm a little crass at times, and I be a little forward with people. But God, sometimes, you're building excellence.
Crass is efficient. Sometimes it's efficient. You could say, and my mom gets on me about this all the time. Like I said, my mom's in town right now. She's like, Kevin, you just got to say it a little nicer. I said, Mom, that may take me 30 seconds. If I say it the way I say it, it may take me 5 seconds. If I can say it in 5 seconds and they still understand it's coming from my heart, it's not coming to be mean or vicious.
Yeah.
It's just no. The answer is no. Like, you have to become very comfortable with the word no, because I tell people no a lot, and it's to where it's almost fun. Like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
But
sometimes it doesn't work.
And so they may think it's crass, but you have to do that.
No. You're spot on. I know there was an opportunity for us to partner on something earlier, that event you had, but it just wasn't the right timing for us to get out there and do it. Sometimes the answer's no, and it's a business thing. It's nothing personal.
It's not personable.
It's because you want to build relationships and bridges and all these things, but it's not always the right time at that moment for things.
It's not the right season.
And and sometimes when it's not the right season, I want you to tell me no. I need to tell you no. And then if we have that relationship currency, when it comes down the road, the perfect alignment will present itself to where it's better than what we could have imagined.
Right. Because if you force someone into a yes, it might not be their best yes. You may only get 70 or 80% of that person. You're not going to get their 100%. I want to do business with someone who has more energy and excitement about that opportunity than I do. But I also have to have the bandwidth to be able to actually give my all to that, because my name's on that.
Listen,
come on.
Brand
Come on,
matters.
Come on.
Hashtag that.
You gotta have a bandwidth for it, and guess what, Facebook Livers? This bandwidth is about to stop for y'all.
See y'all.
So we love y'all, Facebook Livers. I see y'all tuned in. Layla, I still see you. Eric Rollins, we see you in the building. What up, Erlene? What up? I need to give you a call, Erlene, about intermission. We need to have that conversation. But for everybody else who's tuned in, guess what, folks? You've got to go subscribe. So head over to sphere.tv/Startup Masters. We've got a few options for you. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. We're on YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. We're in the kitchen, sitting on your mama's Amazon, Alexa. We're everywhere podcasts can be found right now. And of course, make sure you share it out. Share it with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Share it with your loved ones. Share it with your haters. Share it with anyone you know that wants to have this conversation about taking their business to the next level. And at the same time, give us that constructive criticism. We want to know how we're doing. We want to continue to build great shows and great content for you all. So hit those likes, those dislikes, those stars. Give us that criticism so we can continue to sharpen on this side so that we can also sharpen you. And last but not least, if you truly love what we're doing, sow a seed. Head over to sphere.tv/donate. We've got a couple of options. You could donate one time on the website, and thank you so much to everybody that has already donated. And of course, for those that want to get some exclusive content, you can go right to Patreon and be a subscription-based donator. And let me tell y'all, for those that are tuned in right now, I'm literally working on the back end of Patreon right now because we're about to add a whole bunch of content in a very efficient manner that we're going to be delivering straight to Patreon that's going to bypass iTunes and everywhere else. You will only be able to find it on Patreon. And that's going to be from all 14 shows on our network and eventually other shows. We're going to have exclusive stuff where there's interviews, where there's questions that don't get asked on camera, where there's whole episodes that are only on Patreon. We've got several tiers on Patreon that we're working out. So make sure y'all watch that Patreon page. We may even do something for you early subscribers. So once again, folks, Startup Masters is not ending, but make sure you go subscribe right here at the Sphere. Let's keep this party rolling.
Take that pen out. Let's
Come
go.
on.
Let's
Pen
go.
out. Let's keep this thing popping. Let's talk about today. You've been through the bumps. You've been through the trials, the tribulations. When people hear the word Kevin Knight, when people start thinking about urban events that are global to this world, to this planet, what can they expect from you, good sir?
A sense of community. You can expect a sense of community, bringing people together. I think that's what we're all about, and making travel affordable. You know, many times we've all been on trips with a group of friends, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, alumni groups. You had the best time of your life, maybe in your early 20s. You were never able to get that same group back together again because life happens. Life will always happen.
Always.
And just to go back a few seconds when you said, okay, you've been through the bumps, you've been through this. You're always gonna go through those. So those don't stop. They just transition to different. Yeah, you just roll with them. Like, you know, a new challenge. But you can expect to travel and just have fun, meet new people. You know, when I say a sense of community, even when it comes to like our vendors, we don't charge any Black-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses to be a vendor at any of our events, because it doesn't do me any good charging you $100 or $200 to be a vendor at my spot just so you could try to build your own brand. Like, I'd rather build with you.
Come on.
And then at some point, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, as I've sowed that earlier seed, we could continue to do business together.
Come on.
Because
We call that
what I always say, a rising tide lifts all ships.
all ships.
All boats, all ships,
ships.
everything in the water.
Come on.
You know, so that extra $100, I don't need that today.
Yeah.
I'll get it later.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5-fold. And so you just have to learn how to work with people and how to continue to try to pass on those blessings, knowing that they're going to come back to you at some point.
We get what we give.
Yeah.
Look at your summation.
Listen.
We get what we give.
Listen.
That might be my point out there. Come on.
Wait a minute.
Come on, we get what we give.
I mean, because there was so many gems. It was fully loaded with gems just in that one breath this brother said. Because how often do we walk over and step over $100 bill? How often do we step over $1,000 bill if it exists to get to the $100?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Come on. We're so
come
on, so narrow minded.
You don't have to eat it all today.
You
don't have to eat it all today. Ration it. Just, you know, you take a little bit, save some for later.
Sure.
But people, what I've found or what I see is people want it all right now, and I understand it, but you have to think long term.
Yeah.
You can't have it all right now.
Yeah.
And even if you can, you don't want it all right now. Save some for later.
Yeah.
Because you might not be able to handle it all right now.
You took the words out of my mouth. You might not be ready for that the magnitude of that blessing today. For those that are sitting in traffic right now, you're listening to this on SoundCloud. Sometimes you're not ready for the opportunities that you really want. You're asking for a home run when you can only handle a single or a double.
Come on.
Sometimes you gotta take that first base, kid. Maybe the second one. The shortstop might be right there, but that could be the ram in the bush that's keeping you from blowing up your whole situation. How many times have you bit off more than you can chew in your infancy of the business, and you had to backpedal?
Right.
I've done that.
We all have,
Yeah.
right? And then what usually happens is we sit down and really give ourselves time to process, and we realize, that's why it was difficult and so hard for us to get to it. It's because it wasn't meant for us in that moment in time.
But that's also why, and what a lot of people don't understand, that's why it's so easy for us to say no.
Yeah.
Because we know we don't have the time.
No.
We've made that mistake already. What you're wanting me to do, I've already tried. I don't have that time. So my no is, it may sound short to you, but it's because the long answer, you don't need to know the 10-minute answer of why I'm saying no. Just know that it's not a good time for me.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah, it's not a good time for me. I made that mistake 5 years ago, but I don't want to go into that with person X, Y, and Z. So I just say no. I don't have the time.
I feel that. Speaking of X, Y, and Z, I want to hop into something really quickly, but I know that there's something that you want to dive deep into.
I do. I want to make sure that our good friends understand the purpose and the power behind marketing. Because this portion of the show is sponsored by our good friends at True Digital Media. You're online right now, and so are your customers. The question is, how do you actively reach them? Marketing has to be a consistent journey, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. True Digital Media Consulting can help with website development, online ads, your business reputation, and organic growth on search engines. Give us a call today to discuss a customized strategy for your business at 832-934-4436, or send us an email to info@truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Mention the Sphere to receive a free, free 30-minute strategy consultation.
You know what I'm saying?
Love that. You know what I'm
One
saying.
time for Magic
Mike on it.
He's
So-
on it.
On it. Now, earlier I heard you mention, you talked about the X, Y, and Z. And looking at the site, obviously we've got the Fallout coming up.
Okay.
We've got the Brazil trip coming up.
Yes.
We've got Cape Town coming up.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of things in the pipe, in the pot. And at the same time, you've got competition out there that has their own plethora of trips available as well. But what's that X factor about you all, about Urban Events Global, that's different amongst everyone else?
I think what's different, I think the secret sauce is just how we bring everyone together. So like before each trip, we'll create a smaller group, like a smaller private group of all 84 or 50 people or a couple hundred people that are coming on that trip. And we let them know that during some of the free days, you may want to do something that some other people don't want to do, but there's somebody in this group that wants to do what you want to do. Just put it in the group. And so you continue to try to put people together and create a welcoming environment. And our price is way more affordable than some of the other groups. Now, when you say competition, I don't see it as competition. I see it as other groups that are exposing Black people to traveling and stepping out of their comfort zone. There's millions of us in the U.S.
Sure.
I only need a couple hundred.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? I don't. That's
Yeah.
less than a fraction of 1%.
Yeah.
We're not Coke and Pepsi going at it. You know what I mean? We're some beverages that you've never heard of, some no brand. We're barely scratching the surface. You know, I had close to 100 people in Barbados. That's not a lot. I mean, that's a lot of people, but it's not a lot compared to, you know,
The population.
the
of Barbados.
population. Yeah. You know, so I don't really see it as competition. I see it as someone, because there's a million places to go to in the world. We're only going to a few per year.
Sure.
So if you don't want to go to Cape Town, South Africa, or Thailand, or Brazil, go find another company. I'll name them on our website for you to go check it out. I'm indifferent, because you either want to travel with this group or you don't.
Sure.
You look at our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter under Urban Events Global, you'll see pictures, videos. If that crowd is your crowd, go. If not, there are some crowds that are, I would say, that cater toward a more sophisticated group of people that want to spend more money. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Find your niche.
It's like a vehicle with four wheels. You could drive a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, or you could drive a Ford Focus. It's still going to get you from point A to point B. It's really no different. I like to think we're like a good Toyota Camry. You know what I'm saying?
last
It's
forever.
dependable.
It's
It's
dependable.
reliable.
It's not going to break the bank. You
Yeah.
know, we're not trying to be a Bentley or anything like that. We can, maybe in my personal travels, but that's different.
No, that makes sense.
I mean, the
You have to
gym.
find your own lane, and once you find that lane, you stick with that lane. You know, I just got off the road from Killeen, Texas, and I took some back way, and we passed all these little country hillbilly towns, and I'm looking at the Tractor and Company and all these other little small businesses, but there's a lane for Tractor and Company. There's a lane for this hay service that I passed by. They're making millions of dollars. Just their lane is hay, their lane is tractors, their lane is whatever it is. You can make money doing whatever it is you want to do. Just find your lane, and don't sway from it. Like, don't let society move you too
Yeah.
far off your lane. You have to adjust.
Sure.
You do have to adjust.
Got to pivot.
Just like it was raining the whole way. It's raining in Houston. It was raining the whole way. You adjust for the rain, but you still stick in your lane. The car doesn't change. The weather changes. It's
Listen.
seasonal. There's seasonal changes. Don't let those seasonal changes change your whole business structure.
All right. Yo, mic drop moment.
But listen,
on.
it was so much in that. It was fully loaded. But what I really got out of it, and I hope that you got, this is my interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
When you find your lane, you don't have to worry about said competition because there's enough pie for everybody.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. And then
Woo,
I
Kevin.
heard him say, we'll name them on the website for you. You know what
I'll
that says to me?
I'll even give them a referral.
Come on. Collaboration, which we say at the table very often. Collaboration, folks.
It's the new
is
model.
the new competition, man.
That
we
old
collaborate.
model
We
is
gotta
competition.
I
compete.
just had a collaboration conversation on the phone on the way here. Here's the difficulty in collaboration that I see in the community. If we want to talk about everything,
Let's go.
they think that you're going to take their customer and their customer information. And what I tell them, our customers aren't dumb. They're smart. They already know your information.
Yeah.
Urban Events Global, if you've gotten that far, you've already looked at Black Travel Movement or Black Girls Travel 2, or you name name any of these groups.
Yeah.
They found them already. You know, it's no secret. You know, these groups exist. Up in the Air Life, it doesn't matter. Our clients aren't dumb. That's what Google's for. You find other Black travel groups. You'll get a text from a friend. Oh, I'm traveling with this group. Cool.
Yeah.
Find them. Look them up. Go with them.
Yeah.
But a lot of those groups won't collaborate because they think you're going to take their client. You're in a different lane.
Totally.
If I could take your client, you're going to lose them anyway. And if you could take mine the same, I was going to lose them anyway.
Yo, how many times have we said that about your significant other? Let me just keep it real.
I mean,
I'm just-
we're real.
I'll
We're
just
real
keep it
today.
real.
Go ahead.
I
G.
mean, I'm just saying, you know, you can take that to your personal life. If somebody can take them, you ain't really have them in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. Listen,
Yo.
okay, so let's pivot just a little bit,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Because what I'm curious about is you're on these collaboration calls.
Mm-hmm.
You're going out of the country doing site visits. You're problem solving on a day-to-day basis. But what are you doing to protect your creative space so that you are charged and ready to have collaborative conversations, that you are pouring into self and self-care so that you can go out and be the best, highest version of Kevin Knight?
That's a good question. I don't know. How do I pour into? I mean, I enjoy what I do, so I'm not doing anything I wouldn't ordinarily want to do. So I think when I wake up in the morning, it's already like I don't have to get pepped up to
Yeah.
say let's go travel. That's
Right.
what I want. Like when December 31st came in my corporate America days, I had 0 vacation days left. I maxed
You
it
can't
out.
carry anything over.
I didn't have a sick day. I had 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes left because I wanted to travel. So when I wake up, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to do. This is what I've always done. Like I'm on my 3rd passport already. Like that's just what I want to do. When I'm having the collaboration calls, it's fun talking to people that are just as excited about travel as yours. Just like let's say you're a car guy or a sports guy in the barbershop. Those guys have fun talking about cars and sports all day long because that's what they like to do. If I'm on a collaboration call and we're talking about travel, that's fun. I don't watch sports really. I'll watch a few highlights here and there. I'll watch the Longhorns play, but besides that, I don't have time to watch some 25-year-olds living their best life, doing what they want to do, making millions of dollars. That's an hour of entertainment that I could be doing something else with.
Yeah.
They're having fun doing what they're doing. I'm trying to have fun doing what I'm doing.
Come on.
They worked hard in the gym. I'm working hard on my laptop.
Yeah.
It's like I told my barber this the other day because they were having a fantasy football conversation. And I said, how many hours a day do y'all have this conversation? I said, this sounds like an all-day conversation. He said, all day long. I said, what's the pot? What do y'all win at the end of the day? I think it was like $500. I said, so you spend 3, 4, 5 hours a day for the potential to win $500 a few months from now?
For 16 weeks.
Why don't you go watch?
the math.
Why don't you go to like McDonald's and work part-time? You can make that in like a week or two and save yourself some time following fantasy football every single day. That's what you're doing. You're hustling backwards.
We'll find a way to monetize it.
Right.
Listen.
Come on.
And if your
Listen.
only monetary thing is that prize at the end, now I know some guys who their pot might be $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
25,000.
That math works.
Yeah, that math works.
Now we're
Math
talking.
works,
Yeah.
right? But $500
Yeah.
for a course of 16,
Yeah,
you said
that's
weeks.
16 weeks.
Go work at
And then
McDonald's for a
they'll
week and get that $500 and call it a day.
Now,
Done.
I heard you talk about being on that laptop. Talk a little bit about some of the things you have in a very ritualistic mode. Some of the things that you have on rinse and repeat that you do, whether it's day in, day out, week in, week out, that keeps you in your flow, in your zone throughout your building of this empire.
Wow. When I wake up, besides checking emails and going to, because everything we do is social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, it's all under urbaneventsglobal.com. But then for some of our other events like Urban Camp Weekend, it has its own space on all of those channels. Urban Cruise Weekend, Urban Excursion Weekend, all of those have their own space. So by the time you get through those notifications and making sure you're not missing anything, making sure that I'm in touch with Ashley. Like Ashley is my assistant. Like she's my number one, you know? And so making sure I'm responding back to Ashley. I haven't ignored her messages. That's kind of my start. And then just like you, that start takes you 10 different places.
Come on.
So you keep the old traditional notepad and a pen because you can always get scatterbrained real quick.
Fast.
And so if it's not learning Google Analytics or Google AdSense or restructuring your website or having a call on a totally different project that you never thought about, like every day is different, but it's mainly just making sure that our core events are being taken care of. That's a full 40 hours in itself. Those other hours are just a matter of making sure that I'm not missing any potential opportunities to make any additional money, basically.
I
don't know if that answered the question.
No, I mean, it does.
Yeah.
You talked about things that are in this lane, as you mentioned earlier, that happen every day, day in, day out. That way, the business continues to move forward.
Right.
And you talked about the importance of an Ashley. We don't often talk about those around us on our team that truly sew into the meat and potatoes of the business.
Your team's important.
Come on.
You're nothing without your team. I mean, without Ashley, I'd be struggling
Yo.
because it's a lot. It's a lot without a good, solid, and they're hard. Good help is hard to find. Good help is hard to find. Like it's because it looks fun and fancy and traveling and it's dirty behind the scenes. It's a lot of work. It's some late hours behind the scenes to make sure that you're taking care of all these different people, all the phone calls that come into the 1-800 number, all the emails that come in. And so now, unfortunately, some people don't read. 80% of the questions they ask are on the FAQ page. But then you just copy and paste the FAQ link to them and you keep going.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Putting this show together is a lot of work.
But
it looks easy. Oh, you got some cameras and lights. Okay, hit a button. Cool. It's not like that.
Not at all.
It's not like that. There's a lot of equipment. There's staff. There's scripts. There's advertisers. There's stuff to make sure the bills are paid here.
Come on.
It's not just we're not in someone's backyard garage with a camera. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Mm-mm.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with a garage. Ask Bill Gates about a garage.
Come
Ask
on.
all those
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
about a
Come
garage.
on.
Nothing wrong with a garage.
Come on. The money.
The money, the leadership, the right people.
Yeah.
Because if we do it right and we do it well, those people will eventually help us with our advertising needs.
Yeah.
Because they're going to love what they're doing. They're going to love what the mission is.
It's called Raving Fans. There's a book
Raving
that they made me
Fans.
read back in 2001 at my first corporate job out of college called Raving Fans. And you just want to create raving fans to where you don't have to pay me to advertise certain products. I just like that product. If I had a favorite airline, I would say, like, for example, everyone knows they don't like Spirit.
Come on.
Right?
Listen,
You know what I mean? But if there was a product that was great for you, you'd like, yo, you got to try this. Whether it's for your dreadlocks or your favorite suit or whatever, you're like, yo, you got to try it. You got to try this. Go to such and such company.
Amex Centurion Lounge. You got to try it. I love it.
Right.
If you're traveling,
I mean, that's where you got to
come
go.
on. Shout out to Amex. I need to have them as a sponsor. Like, let me just put it out there.
Just
in
go ahead and
the
put it in.
ether.
Hey, it's out there now.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
I
That's
love
it.
it. I do.
But you know what else I love?
Talk about it.
I love our companies that entrust us with their advertising needs.
Speak on that.
'Cause speaking of, this portion of the show is sponsored by the good folks here at The Sphere. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Mike.
Shots fired.
It's dead. It's done.
Man, so as we come towards the conclusion of this, we've talked obviously about the infancy, about how you started. We talked about the deliverables of today, things that you're bringing to the table, what people can expect, even the behind the scenes of how things actually move in this curated chaos, so to speak. But let's talk about the future.
Okay.
5, 10, 20 years from now, where do we see Urban Events Global in regards to this empire you're building, but it's this global phenomenon that's taking us by storm? Where you see yourself in 2025, 2030?
What are we in 2018?
Yeah.
2019.
Right. So in 5, 10 years, it really depends, right? Like I'm always going to travel. I mean, as long as God willing, I'm always going to travel, whether I own the company or not. I'm going to travel. But I also come from a private equity background. I come from a very strong business background. And so where we've bought and sold many companies, everything has a price, right? So let's look at do I want to run this company at 60, 70 years old? Do I want to go to camp? Maybe not. Yeah. But I can be in a position where, like, let's say you're the CEO of Disney. That doesn't mean you play with toys.
Come on.
That means you're the CEO of Disney. That doesn't mean you watch animated movies all day long. You're just running a business. So I may be running Urban Events Global, but not necessarily going on all the trips like I go on now. You know, there's only so many times I want to go to some of these places, quite frankly. So hopefully I'm in a position where I have enough staff to where they could run the empire of all African-American travel in the U.S., but not just my company. We've merged with other Black-owned businesses, Black-owned travel companies, to where we're just giving you options, giving you many options. So it just depends. If we grow and it's still a viable business, then I'll run the business. But at some point, if that private equity company comes and says, "Hey, here's $30 million to take the company," I'm like, "Yeah, okay,
Here we go.
Here we go." Just
Here's
like
my wiring instructions.
just like my frat brother when he sold BET to Viacom. It's like, "Hey, I gotta go."
Yeah.
You know, but he didn't turn his back to the community. He just let that company go and started doing other things. I think he bought a basketball team and did some other stuff.
Yeah.
So it just depends. You like, my lane is always going to be travel. Whether I'm running the company or not, it's going to be like, it's going to have its core mission statement.
Now, do you see any future acquisitions that are on the horizon right now? Any exclusives that we can have a conversation about? I see you smiling.
Yeah. There are talks of some really good partnerships on the way.
Okay.
I could say the trip that we were talking about before we went on air,
Sure.
To Barbados, our crop over, us and Black Girls Travel 2, we're going to try to put together one of the best events ever for that event.
Nice.
Which is why I'm going to Barbados Thursday and New York tomorrow to kind of have some meetings and set some stuff up there. That's probably the one that I could talk about right now.
Sure.
But there's some good stuff on the way.
Good deal.
But again, we're still a growing business, always looking for help, always looking for motivated people that see more than just the travel and the fun. They see the potential for something big, you know. And that's any small business. You're looking for the potential for something big, because if you believe in it, then you believe in it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, something else that's very key, and I hope our audience paid attention to this, is you spoke about the end. It's the preparing for the end in mind in the beginning. Because if that opportunity presents itself and we're not prepared when we initially put this on paper, we're not gonna have a roadmap anymore.
And when you say prepared, and I don't, how much time do we have left?
You got time.
Okay,
Do
because prepared, be prepared legally.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, be prepared legally, and by that, have your bookkeepers, have your CPAs, have your attorneys, because you're going to face some real life situations where you need to have attorneys on retainer. Because when that deal comes to say, hey, let me buy the Spirit Podcast Network, they're going to say, hey, let me see your books, let me see your tax returns for the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, oh, well, some of my money came through Venmo, some came through Cash App, got some
It was
PayPal.
cash.
You have to have your stuff nicely delivered to them
Right.
for them to take you serious.
Right.
Because you can't value your business at $5 million when you only show 100,000 of receipts.
Come on.
Even though you may have taken in 300,000, but you can't show it.
Yeah.
And when you do show it, they're like, oh, so that was off the books. What else is off the books in your business?
Yeah.
So you have to start how you want to end.
That's
Start
it.
legit. It's expensive. It costs money, but hey, anything that's worth its thing, anything costs. Anything costs.
You gotta make money. You gotta spend money to make
You
money.
got to spend it regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Regardless.
Regardless. That word is so imperative, and I want to hold on to that because I want to ask you one final question.
Okay.
Let's rewind the tape, and I'm talking stamp by stamp,
Okay.
meeting by meeting. I'm talking collaboration opportunity by opportunity. I'm talking customer by customer. Every sidebar you've had with Ashley, every time that you've ran into someone who's asked you a question on the FAQ, we're wiping the slate clean from all of that, taking you all the way back through the trenches of the early urban camp weekends, the trenches of the Halloween event, the trenches of building out every global or domestic event you've ever had to build out. We're taking you all the way back to that seat in corporate America, blowing through those vacation hours. And we want to know if we slid you some seed money and you had the opportunity to keep the knowledge of all the things that you've been through, regardless of those situations, how would you rebuild Urban Events Global this time around that you didn't do the first time? What would you do differently? What would you implement that you didn't implement from the jump?
Probably nothing, because there's nothing that the money would have done to help me build the business, because the business was built before there was so much advertising on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and a lot of that was free. A lot of that was people that just wanted to travel with us before I spent the dime. So we already had 500 people coming to Urban Camp Weekend before we had a website. So what would I have done with the seed money outside of OU interest?
Talk about
I could do more with the money now than I could have done at the beginning, because again, I was still in corporate America also.
Sure.
So I could just put on a good event and not worry about the profit as well, because it's like I'm not eating off of Urban Camp Weekend.
Yep.
We could break even. We could lose a couple $1,000s.
And
It
I'm
didn't
good.
matter.
Right.
We were still fine.
Yeah.
Seed money wouldn't have helped back then. But I also watch Shark Tank every single day, and I see where seed money does come in handy. But we had an organic following,
Sure.
kind of like Obama in the first election. People were paying
Text.
$5, $10, $5, $10. It was grassroots.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's how Urban Camp Weekend was, word of mouth. It wasn't a face. Half of our guests weren't even on social media like that. So in this scenario, it wouldn't have done that much.
Love it, man.
But I'll take it today if you have it. If you're offering money right now,
surely.
because Gary V, I'm sure you listen to some Gary V clips, and one of the things that he said that really stuck out is there has never been a time where advertising has been so cheap. You can advertise on Instagram and Facebook for $1. If you only have $5, you can reach a couple thousand people with $5, $10. That's cheap.
It's our own media company.
You can that's what social media is. It's a data gathering source. It's not social media is what they tell the consumer.
Speak
But
on it.
but how is Google and Facebook worth so much? Because they're gathering data that they're selling to people like us that are paying to advertise. If I want to reach somebody with dreadlocks in North Dakota, that likes the Pistons, I could type that into Facebook, find that person, and advertise to that whole group of people. What other time in society could you reach your direct consumer and actually know? I'm not going to spend $2 million on a Super Bowl ad when I can reach more people with $1,000 that are actually going to buy my product.
With a better ROI, indeed.
Come on.
Definitely, it's the best. I mean, we tell Facebook every day what we like, where we're going, what we're checking into, and it's just creating lookalike audiences to where you could find the people you want. That's beautiful. If you can't win today, then your business is, well, I'm not. I mean, it's easy to advertise and reach your audience these days if you put in the work.
That's the key.
Put in the work.
If you put in the work.
Put in the work. Because of the work you've put in, because of what you've toiled through, because of every stamp, every meeting, every collaboration conversation, and every late night conversation with Ashley, we'd like to officially coin you, good sir, a startup master. Please let anyone and everyone that's tuned in right now, everywhere in the world, let them know where they can find you, your website, and get more information about your upcoming events.
They can find us at urbaneventsglobal.com. That's www.urbaneventsglobal.com. You can find it under the same thing on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. That's it. From there, you'll see our other events like Urban Camp Weekend, Urban Excursion Weekend, Urban Cruise Weekend. They all have their own individual platforms on those various social media pages. But if you go to Urban Events Global, you'll see everything.
There it is, good folks. Well, good sir, we appreciate you today.
I appreciate y'all.
It has been a pleasure. KG, where can the good people reach you at, my dear?
Good people, you can reach me across all social media platforms on my website at kogpassion.com. That's kogpassion.com. What about you, G?
Well, good people, you can reach me anywhere online. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with the Z. If you got any questions about what we do here on Startup Masters specifically, shoot us an email, startupmasters@thesphere.tv, or hit us across social media at The Sphere TV. Use our coveted hashtag Startup Masters, and we will definitely get back with you. This has been another empowering episode. We will see you all next time. Take care, folks.
Adios.